the best way to make money on YouTube is just through AdSense. 7.7 million subscribers. Today I'm gonna track my girlfriend to see if she's cheating on me. This script got 50 million views. Progress, problem. Progress, problem.
That's some sauce right there. I haven't really heard too many people talk about that.
Finding something that already works. Subscribe, please, 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 please. No, I take that back. I know what you're feeling. I know what you like. They're impacted by your reaction before the physical action.
I like that.
It's either I figure this out or I'm going to college and I don't know what's going on here. Just go all in on it.
Focus on one thing, master it, and then sort of expand out.
When's it gonna hit? What's gonna happen?
So, what's your name, occupation, and OnlyFans password?
My name is Owen Lynch. My occupation is, I like to say, YouTuber or social media manager, and OnlyFans password is disclosed for now.
Disclosed,
not public
okay.
information.
How many channels do you have right now?
Under my personal name, I have 6 channels, but if I pulled up my YouTube dashboard, all the channels that I'm either a part of or directly run, I have over 15.
Over 15?
Yeah.
Hey. Okay. That's pretty insane. What are some of the results that you've gotten with those channels and across YouTube?
So my biggest channel that I am a part of is my own, but it's actually not my main channel. It's my Spanish channel.
Oh.
Has 7.7 million subscribers, and my main has 6.3. And my girlfriend's channel that I started from 0 less than a year ago also just hit 7 million subscribers last night.
Last night. Dang. Congrats, bro. That's pretty sick.
Thank you.
How do you monetize your YouTube channels? Because these are mostly short form channels. So is it just through AdSense, or what does that look like for you?
Yeah, so my philosophy about social media is that every single platform has a best way to monetize that platform. And I'm not one of those people who just makes a video and posts the same thing on every platform. I like to make the best out of each platform. And YouTube, for me, in my opinion right now, the best way to make money on YouTube is just through AdSense. If you just go all in, build a system that gets the most amount of views, highest RPM. So it's basically my goal with YouTube is just to monetize through AdSense. And for me, that's shorts ad revenue. And especially over the last year, that has been drastically higher than, the previous year. So a lot of people are still kind of not in the know of how much you can actually make from shorts, but it is, at some points in time, my biggest income source.
Got you. You mentioned that you look at other platforms differently. How do you view those? Like, do you actually post like some of the things that you post on YouTube Shorts? Do you actually post those on Instagram and TikTok, or what do you do for that?
Yeah, so specifically in regards to that, like if I'm gonna make a piece of content, let's say some of my best content on YouTube, because we're mainly talking about YouTube,
Right.
Everyone knows like the voiceover style, YouTube Shorts general format. Those are meant, for retention for a YouTube viewer, generally a bit younger than somebody on Instagram Reels or even TikTok. So I would take something like that, and either if I recorded the video from scratch, I would make an entirely different format. Even if on YouTube, it's like, to make a very general example, I'll make a video, how many licks to finish a piece of gum? On YouTube, that would have like bright, flashy pink and green captions with a bunch of editing. But even to do a simple change for Instagram, I would make it like really small, white captions, very simple. And if I'm not going through the process of actually re-editing the core video, I would take it and put it in like, how videos have like those white borders around it where it makes it look like a meme?
Yeah.
A lot of times I'll take a video that is formatted for YouTube Shorts, put it in that format, put a little caption above it being like, no way he actually did this, or wait until the end. And then from my research, that will perform better on Instagram than just reposting the video. And it's a very small change.
Interesting. That's definitely some sauce right there. I haven't really heard too many people talk about that. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Switching gears a little bit, gonna get this question out of the way. How much money do you make?
In what time frame?
Let's just say a month.
On average, in between 100 and 150,000.
All right, back to YouTube. We just had to get that out of the way. Can you
And probably
guarantee?
like 50% of that is from YouTube, and then 50% of that is from converting socials to other things like course, other people's like platforms, OnlyFans, you know.
Yeah, I got you. Um, can you guarantee a video to go viral?
Yes.
What is the
Short
process?
answer.
That's definitely the shortest one. I've asked that question of every guest, and I like that. What's
Yeah.
the process of guaranteeing a video to go viral? What does that look like for you?
So I've started in the last year. I mentioned I have direct access to over 15 YouTube channels,
Yeah.
at least 7 of which have been started within the last 12 months. And I have been extremely confident from the beginning that these channels will grow. It's not a guessing game for me anymore. I mean, it's not a guessing game for anyone anymore, but unless they're just misled, if they don't have the right information, if they don't have the right plan.
Mm.
So how can I guarantee something to go viral is just do something that somebody else has done that's been viral. It's not as simple as just copying somebody's video word for word. I mean, it can be, but the quickest route to success is not trying to reinvent the wheel. It's finding something that already works and siphoning off that person or that concept's audience.
Interesting.
So if, say for example, I was talking about that voiceover style, YouTube short style, like those are generally idea based videos. They're idea based content, not personality based content, which, you know, by my definition is like people are watching those videos for the question that you present or the story that you present to the viewer. They're not watching it because of your face. They don't know who you are. They don't care who you are. They care what has just been presented to them.
Mm.
And I was in this place for a while where I was making content purely ran off the idea, nobody knew who I was. Like I wasn't getting views because I was some big YouTuber. I was just using a format that worked with a cool idea. So if I were to start a video from scratch, just remove yourself from the equation. Remove trying to bring attention to your personality or your jokes or your favorite color. Like remove all emotion from it. Pull up whatever format you want. Let's say you want to do YouTube Shorts. Go scroll on YouTube Shorts for 10, 20 minutes max. If you see the same thing multiple times, if you see people doing like YouTube, I mean, it's kind of growing away from that shorts format now, but it's very good to like exemplify it. Like say a lot of people are doing videos like today I swapped my friend's Gatorade out for Prime, and that was a video format that was working consistently well.
Mm.
And everyone who's getting the most views on shorts is doing captions in the center in a certain font and a certain color. Don't try to be, oh, I'm different, I'm going to put my favorite color in the captions to add my touch to it. No, use a plain white or yellow caption, copy the skeleton of the video. Like you can literally download the video, put it in a software that will write out what the voiceover is on paper. You can just change the subject, change if they're swapping Gatorade for Prime, you swap that from toothpaste to mayonnaise, and then you add your name or your friend's name, and then you do the voice. Like you, it's not like the most creative thing, but that's a fact. Like you can, based on data and based on example, like you can replicate something, do it enough times to where over time, as you're doing it, you can build your own uniqueness. People start to recognize your face, and that's when you can kind of branch off and do your own thing with the format that you found best. But yeah, that's the longer version of the answer, but it's really just copying without copying stuff word for word. If you do it right, it should be undetectable that you've stolen another video's general skeleton, or you could just be completely unapologetic about it like some creators, and you just actually rip a video word for word until
Yeah.
you have enough subs to do something original.
Yeah. Okay.
But
I got
yeah.
you. So then, would you get to a point where then you get your own viral videos, right? And then you kind of steal the skeleton from your own videos and just kind of like recreate those over and over again, or
Yeah, because I don't believe in a good video idea. What's the point in making a good video once? Like that's not a career. You don't make it, you can't make money off of one good video. You can't make a life. You can't make a brand off one good video. So I never do something if it's not replicatable. Like I don't do something like, for example, I did videos for a year and a half doing how many licks to finish a certain amount of thing, and that was just perpetually filled new ideas by people just commenting things. Or if you do in videos that you publicly like do public interviews with strangers, like you can just ask those questions. You go out and you ask 5 questions to 20 people, and then you can ask the best performing out of those 5 questions to the next 20 people, and then you just keep doing it. It's just easily repeatable. And then yeah, you're right, it builds off of your own. You start then stealing your own skeleton. That's what I do. If I want to write a video that's a completely new concept, has nothing to do with any video I've done before, I will take one of my own scripts, write it out, and put 2 docs side by side and say, okay, this script got 50 million views. I'm going to make this video follow the same points. I'm like, okay, I did a hook, and then like the next line, there was a problem, an issue. Like this, I would say the script is like this. It's like progress, problem, progress, problem. It's like today I'm going to track my girlfriend to see if she's cheating on me. It's like, we're going to find this out. And then she just left the house. And then we found out where she was, but she was just at her mom's house. And then I searched again. So it's like, you can follow in a successful script where the progress is and where the problem is, and then where the CTA is. And those 3 things put together is your video. It's just a matter of where each of those fills in the box. And for every person and every concept, it's going to be different.
Got you. You mentioned the CTA. Have you found that like having a call to action like to subscribe or whatever it might be, does that actually, in the short form content, does that work really well?
Yeah, insanely well. I have videos that the single most video, or the video that gained me the single most amount of subscribers, I got over 2 million subscribers from one video.
That's insane. How many views did it have?
Because how many views?
Yeah.
50 million.
Okay. So it's like a 1 to 25 ratio or something like that?
Yeah, even when you calculate it towards a lower view count, like the ratio is still insanely high. And I think I've gotten some with over 1 million subscribers that have way less views, like only 20 million views and 1 million subs.
And that's just through the power of like that call to action in the video.
Yeah, you can't just slip away. It cannot be an afterthought. The CTA cannot be an afterthought. You have to be intentional with, if I'm making a video that's specifically subscriber bait, that I'm making it to gain subs, you can't just write out a YouTube short and then put, and I'm done, so subscribe. Nobody fucking cares. Like, they're already done. You have to write it into the video. You have to know that it's a core part of the video if that's the intention that you've set. So for me, the best has been something that's almost interactive in a way. Like, I will come to a problem in the video. Recently, my highest performing videos have been like POV, me behind the camera doing a little scavenger hunt with like sticky notes or like papers on the wall, and girls and guys popping up and giving me clues throughout the video. It's a really good format for retention. And halfway through the video, it'll be like subscribe to open the door, and then I'll go to open the door and I'll like struggle. I'm like, it's not opening. You have to subscribe. Like, you really call at them. Like, you dig. It's if you're gonna do it, if your job is to try to get subscribers, don't like be afraid to ask them to subscribe. Like, don't be like, oh, it's too like spammy, that's cringe. Like, if you're doing this shit, you gotta do it all out. Yeah. Like, you gotta go all out. So I'm fucking like, subscribe, please, and then open the door, and then it makes them feel like they were involved with the video, and it has a way higher rate. They're never going to click off because of that CTA. They're so invested. It's like they're already 15 seconds into this video. They need to see the end. So they're not clicking off because I did a corny CTA. If anything, they're subscribing to get to the end. So
Got you. And then the benefit of getting all those subscribers, is that based off of like getting more returning viewers? Or how do you look at it?
It's a lot of people have conflicting opinions about this. Like, to some degree, I think it is on YouTube these days a bit of a vanity metric where you're just almost gaining subscribers to say you have subscribers. But at the end of the day, like, it's just recognition. It's not like long form where it's like they're subscribed and they subscribe for a reason because they want to see more of your videos, and they're going to get fed your videos in recommended, but they will get fed your videos on the shorts feed. And if they've interacted with it, the chances are they remember you. Like, they know your, even if it's not your face, they know your format, they know your style, and they're going to watch again. And if you've ever even scrolled through YouTube shorts, like, you get fed your subscribed, like the people you're subscribed to, you get, usually when you open it, the first video you see is somebody you're subscribed to, and then one in every like 20 for the first 100 scrolls, you're seeing a video that you're subscribed to. So if you can guarantee that these people are becoming returning viewers, but not in like an intentional way, just in a algorithmic way, they will be fed your videos again, then yeah, you obviously, if you keep up the momentum and you keep posting and you don't let the channel sit dead for a while, like, you will have higher average views. So there's only ever going to be a benefit from having more subscribers.
Gotcha. And we talked about the skeleton of the video, kind of actually the whole process of creating a video, but hooks are so important. So walk me through, how do you come up with these hooks? I know you said like you're gonna kind of steal the framework. Does that really apply to the hooks, or what does the hooks look like for you?
Yeah, so there's really two parts, because there's the visual hook and then there's the audio hook. One can overpower the other and make the other really not matter, but if you put them both together, then that's how you win. So in my videos, everything has captions. Actually, no, I take that back. The sticky note videos that I've been doing better for me more recently do not even have captions. No center captions, no big captions on screen. So there's not a edited text, but there is visual text, because there would be something written on a piece of paper in real life, which kind of takes over that visual. So I think it's really just immediate action followed by, it's almost a reverse, right? They're impacted by your reaction before the physical action. So what I mean by that is they can visually see something happening, but the first thing that they're hit with is like the audio stimulant of like, oh my God, oh no, or what just happened? As in, like, there's a word for this in like literature, in reading, it's a word for when a book starts halfway through the story and then will unwind to tell you like how you got to this moment. But that has been some of my best performing stuff, like just a video that starts with, this is the worst day ever, and something massive is happening, like somebody's throwing something, and there's massive visual stimulation, and there's just a crazy verbal, like, this is the worst day of my life, I hate my life, my mom kicked me out of the house, all these things. Like, they're like, well how, why, what's happening? Like, that's why it's a question, whether you're asking a question or presenting something that needs to be answered. You always want them to be kind of reverse engineering something, because even in the videos that start with motion, like my little sticky note ones, it'll be like a girl running away, and then they drop a note and it's like, you stole from me. It's like, who's this girl? Why is she running away? Stole. Who's the person behind the camera? Why'd they steal something? Like, there's so many questions presented that need to be answered, and that's why they keep watching. So I think a lot of people might be overthinking something, like almost like trying to provide value or like getting like something interesting, rather than, it can be super simple. It doesn't even have to be visually crazy, as long as it presents something that's asking a question. Because I've done both, right? I've been on the side of like super simple. How many grains of rice is in a bag? And then they're watching through the video as you tell a story and make it funny to get the answer. They were presented a question and it was good enough to where they just want an answer. So that's then the other option is just something so crazy to where they make the question in their own head. So yeah, it's a massive part. Like you don't watch a video without the
Right,
hook,
right.
right? It's the same. You have to be intentional throughout the entire process.
How important is the swipe rate on videos?
I mean, I compared to other people am a lot less like analytically driven because I think I've just gotten to a point where I have enough data to where I'm like, this is either a good video or a bad video. I don't focus too much on metrics like that. And I think
Mm.
when you know you're putting out a good format, like I'll only check the details, like the actual, retention percentage and swipe rate and all that of the shorts if something seems like off or if I've been proved wrong by my own logic. Like I've done shorts in the past where I like spend a couple hours filming it, do script just like another one. I'm like, this like something's off, and then I'll see like I said the swipe like people swiped off. And I'm like, okay, then now something was wrong with my hook, and then I can kind of cross reference it. But if you're a brand new channel starting out and like just experimenting with hooks, like I would focus on other metrics before the swipe rate, especially if it's lower amount of views and lower amount of data. Like there, people could just be swiping past it because it gets fed to the wrong audience. Like if
Mm.
you start a basketball channel, it's going to take a couple weeks before you get fed to the right audience. So people are just going to get fed that content. They're just going to swipe, and then it will destroy your metric. And then you're here trying to analyze your intro and change all this stuff that maybe didn't need to be changed. You just needed to be a bit more consistent for a longer period of time.
So is there a metric then that you would even pay attention to? Like, what would be the number one? Would you pay attention to retention then? Like, if you were in that situation, starting up a new channel, what would you pay attention to? Or would you just consistently make content and then get enough data and then go off of it? Or what would that look like?
I would not pay attention to like retention and anything except like really just views for a couple weeks. Like I I really hate to see it. Like people get too caught up in the numbers, and they'll be like doing a full blown analysis and sending me, especially now because I have a group of people that I am, guiding on basically like starting brand new channels. And I have a bunch of people who come to me with questions like, hey, does this look good? And they'll send me a picture, a screenshot of the analytics of the video, and I'm like, this video has 500 views. Like none of these metrics actually are right. Like this is not accurate. These numbers are complete nonsense because the video only has 500 views. Like these 500 people probably just didn't want to see this video to begin with. Like I just say, I can look at the format and say, okay, if you're starting something completely new that nobody's ever done, you're kind of just throwing a shot in the dark here. But if you take your ideas, put it into a format that already works, do it over a consistent amount of time, like 2 weeks to a month, and then you just get 0 views or like a couple thousand views max every video, then like you have to go back and start looking at it. But I honestly still wouldn't go and just nerd out about your analytics. I would go about the overall concept. I would say, okay, like what's wrong with this video? Are people doing videos like this? Is this concept search termed on Google, on YouTube? Like, are people even interested in this content that I'm making? Because it's a lot more broad than people think.
Yeah.
Like it's not about your video's retention that got 500 views. It's about like, why'd you make the video? Is it actually, does it have a target audience? Like, do you know the target audience? And are other people doing it? That's what I focus on, and I'm just less analytically like driven in this store. It's more like just the creativity of it has gotten me to the point where now I can go back and look at my own analytics and be like, oh yeah, this had good retention, this did good numbers. But it's almost like I already knew it was going to do that because I just wrote a script that had good storyline.
So so essentially then it's mainly about the concept and the formula that you're following, not about like the technical details then.
Yeah, like get the overall idea right, like get the bigger picture right before you start than going in and studying. Because then if you're already having a consistent output, getting 100K plus views on videos, then you can go look, okay, if you're consistently, because you can get to that view level pulling on shorts like 70-80% retention, then you can study and be like, okay, why is everyone leaving my video 70% through? Then you study your scripts, increase your retention, optimize your videos, and then just charge full speed ahead and keep that output. But I think anyone can get their foot in the door. They can get that first big view video without studying the in-depth analytics of their own video.
Gotcha. Now you mentioned that you have that Spanish channel.
Yeah.
Should anyone dub their channels in other languages like that? And maybe like at what point should someone do that?
You should only do it when you have obviously success in your main language. Like if your channel hasn't taken off yet to, like 50K subs, at least I would say, then there's no point, because you don't want to be, obviously, because it costs money for production, or at the bare minimum, if you're using all AI softwares and your own time, then it's costing your time that you could be just spent optimizing your main channel. Like you shouldn't be thinking of it like, oh, if he has 2 channels with 7 million subscribers, then let me just start off from scratch doing these 2 channels. Like, no, I'm a big believer in like, put your head down, focus on one thing until it's working, and then scale. Because my channel was at millions of subscribers and I had 100 plus videos in the vault before I did that. And then I can just go, hey, post this backlog on this channel. And then all the videos hit the same way they did on the main channel. They just are doing it a year delayed in a different language. And I would say if you're a creator who's my size, or even 50K plus subs, like you can build a system to where it would be profitable for you to do that. Because especially Spanish, the other languages like Portuguese or even Hindi, like very low CPM, RPM, but Spanish is actually high enough and populated enough with advertisers where you can make good money if you get a good amount of views. So it's definitely a smart play, and it's definitely good for brand awareness and just to get your face out there. Yeah. And it's good for just views and money overall, but I don't think it's something to like glamorize as a new creator. I think it's just a distraction.
Gotcha. It makes sense. Just kind of focus on one thing, master it, and then sort of expand out.
100%.
What would you say that you're best at on YouTube? Would it be kind of like copying those frameworks, or what would it be in your eyes?
I'm good at writing, so that's why I think I was innately good at scripting, which then led to, because retention and CTAs and everything in my mind when I first started this was not like, I was not thinking of it in that terminology. I wasn't like YouTubeifying my own life. I was just like writing a good story because I knew how to add conflict and I knew how to tell a good story and how to make something fun and like drag people on. So I think that's why I've been good at it. Like, I mean, people say like, obviously I kind of just am willing to play whatever part it takes to make a video work. Like I was very, at one point, very like kids oriented, like super high pitched voice, crazy emotions, crazy faces. And I've never been worried about people judging that. Like I've always done like I said earlier about the CTA, like if you're going to do something, you got to go all in. Like people will make these like kid style YouTube shorts, but then they're like, you got to play the part all the way through to keep people interested. So I'm definitely good at adapting and like learning what's performing best and doing that and playing the part and fully immersing myself in what needs to be done to get the job done. But skill set wise, and why I've been successful at this without kind of learning the game first, was just because I think I was naturally good at writing and storytelling.
Got you. Are you going to expand to long form at all, or look into that, or are you just going to kind of stick with short form because it's printing?
Yeah, I actually just today kind of solidified, not for me, but for Camilla, my girlfriend. We are going to be experimenting with long form with her, like doing a consistent output of long form, just because she has a more, like, her face became more widely known for a million reasons on YouTube. People make like reaction videos to her, and they use her face to get views. And like we've just learned that there's so much kind of traction to her name just on long form YouTube that it would make more sense to go with her first. So we're going to experiment with long form, and we did some reaction style content, but I don't know if you know the videos that's like 5 virgins versus 1 non-virgin,
Yeah.
like, or like girls rate guys by Riz. They're like in a studio, kind of like, yeah. So we're gonna experiment with those and have her like be kind of a host
Okay.
for that style content. But
Yeah.
for me right now, it's not in. Well, I mean, I actually am making long form content right now on a new channel, doing more like this version of me, not content, just how I actually talk business wise. So I dropped a video, it's like 23 minutes on my entire story of how I started YouTube when I was 10 years old filming skateboarding videos, and how that led to me in the last 2 years making like $3 million off social media. That's the title of the video. So it's pretty much my whole like 13-year journey on YouTube. And I just recorded another one that was like the seven skills you need to succeed in online business. And I'm going to be doing weekly videos on there too. So that's a brand new channel, start from scratch, no push from my other channels, completely organic long form, and just really content focused. Like people who are focused on the back end side of content, who may or may not know me, but it's just pure value, no shock value, just me sitting down at the desk, like telling what I know. So those are the two kind of long form ventures I'm in, but not so much on the entertainment side for my own brand.
Gotcha. Okay. Do you use AI in any aspect of YouTube, whether it be the short form or now possibly even in the long form content?
I personally right now don't really have AI in any part of the process, besides when I was doing faceless YouTube channels. I was using AI to help me script. I ran a faceless YouTube channel about crime and interrogations, and I would write really long, like 10-page scripts by myself, and I would use AI to help me like skeleton it, and just ChatGPT with plugins and all, like really like strategized. Like I could, at the time, this was like this was like almost a year ago now, I had it to where it could write something where I barely had to touch, and it would do a lot of scripting for me. So I also heavily advise people to use it with shorts and ideation, and also even there's AI softwares to do like Spanish and other language dubbing of your own voice, like 11 Labs a lot of people use. And I advise people who are in my community to do that for Spanish, because I have a voice actor and I have script writers and people, and it's not insanely expensive, but you could get started doing what I do with the other languages for essentially no money.
Right.
So
Okay.
I advise people to use it more than I actually use it myself these
Gotcha.
days.
And then the key being with like AI would be feeding it a lot of good data, right? That's kind of like my understanding.
Yeah, you have to have really good prompts. Like it's almost like it can only help you as much as you know to help it. And that's something that I have worked with my partner on my course, is like we have a database of prompts for AI to help with YouTube Shorts ideas, and like coming up with data based on a way to feed in, like for example, I could feed my own channel and it would come up with 25 titles that make sense compared to my own titles. So that's like
I got you.
how I use it.
Yeah. Okay. What does a day in the life of Owen Lynch look like?
Right now, not too interesting, to be honest. Like I wake up, I'm not a morning person, to be honest. Like I am not a morning person. Like today I woke up, I got out of bed at like noon.
Dude,
And
I get up at 2 p.m. every day. We're close, man. We're close.
yeah, it's not my thing. I'm not a morning person. I wake up around like 10 or noon. I go to the gym first thing in the morning. I just like work out, and then during that is that time period where everyone's spamming me, because like my workflow, essentially I I manage my own content and my girlfriend's content hands-on. Me and her own a company where we manage 4 creators right now underneath us, full scale social media. We run their YouTube channels, Instagram, TikTok, everything for them essentially. And then we have people, employees in place that help do all that and kind of control all those systems. So that's kind of overlook at what I'm dealing with. So in the morning when I go to the gym, usually that's when I kind of get a good idea of any problems that I'm going to have to solve during the day, any outliers that I wasn't planning on doing, like somebody has an issue, some account is banned, something. And then beyond that, I'll have a schedule whether I have to film that day or somebody's going to be filming at my house that day and I can be involved, because we'll usually do like a weekly rundown. That's actually today. Today is my weekly rundown day. So I was downstairs with my team and we were just looking over everyone's content. What does everyone need to get done? Like, they're missing this content, let's schedule this person to film this day, and I can do these videos this day. And when, like, we need to book a studio to do this long form, when can we get everyone together to do that? So today is my day for that. We just do like an organizational, like, few hours. And then obviously for myself and my girlfriend, like, we think of ideas on the fly and we kind of just film videos every day as it comes. And then for the people who are less involved day to day, we'll have specifically planned times to schedule. Like today, I am just planning tomorrow. I'm going to do the same thing, wake up, go to the gym. But then when I get home, there's going to be somebody waiting here and I'm going to film videos with my girlfriend and another girl. And we're going to have them do a podcast and then we're going to do some skits. And then that's usually like 2 p.m. to like 5 or 6. And then after that, organize everything we just did, make sure everything, all files are in place, all the videos are kind of gone to the back end system. And then the rest of it's just management. Like, I'm just active all day in my like Discord groups, like making sure everyone's on top of things. Like, I have the network of people I have is posting. We post over 125 videos a day across all platforms, and that's only the girls' main accounts. Beyond that, we have a system of over 30 secondary accounts running to that of repurposed content of the girls that I manage and me. So there's just a lot of systems in place and a lot of people that need to be overseen and like looked over. So it's a lot of just me on my phone looking down, seeing what has to be done, and then dealing with my, day-to-day life, external things like real estate and stuff like that.
Gotcha. You mentioned earlier that you've been doing YouTube since you were like 10 years old. So over the course of the past, you're 21 now, right?
Yeah.
The past 11 years, how would you say that you learned YouTube throughout that time period? How did you learn it, and then what was like the game changer for the past 2 years?
Well, yeah, so like you said, emphasis on the past 2 years. I have been making YouTube videos since I was 10. I started filming videos of me learning skateboard tricks, and then I would learn a skateboard trick, and then I would film a video of me teaching people how to do that skateboard trick, because my natural reaction was always just to do what I saw. If I learned about skateboarding through YouTube videos, so I was like, oh, I know how to do a kickflip. Now let me teach everyone else how to do a kickflip. And then I got into hypebeasts, clothing, and sneakers, and I was like, hey, I'm super into clothes. Let me make videos about clothes and tell people how to, find clothes and how to resell clothes and stuff. So it was very like based on my real life passions and hobbies, and I didn't understand it as a business until I was in like middle school, early high school with the sneaker videos. Then I was in a good system. Like, I was filming, editing, posting, thumbnail, everything myself almost every single day. Like, this is still all active on my original channel, just called Owen Lynch. You can go back and see like a year of daily uploads when I was like 13, 14 of me just grinding. And I was making, I had got like $1,000 check from YouTube at that point, like in maybe a 6-month period. And I was like freaking out. I was like, this is crazy. So that was the first ever kind of money or like success I had on YouTube. Success in terms of like, I had like 5,000 subscribers. A couple people knew who I was when I went to sneaker conventions, and like I had a little audience, and that was kind of where I got to. And then once it got real and I was like, okay, it's either I figure this out or I'm going to college and I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah.
I don't want that to happen. I need to do anything. So once it got real was when TikTok came out, and is when I kind of had to, like, I had my back against the wall. I was like, I figure this out, or I'm either going to do this for the rest of my life, or I'm going to be trying to do this for the rest of my life. There's no in between. So I really put that pressure on myself. I moved out, and then I wouldn't even say it was YouTube at that time. Then I got more into TikTok. I started getting more views on TikTok. I got myself to like 1 million followers on TikTok through like voiceover style videos, kind of like YouTube Shorts eventually became, but with a different format. Yeah, so then I was learning everything, not just how to make a video. I was like, if I need to make money, I need to learn sales. I was reaching out to people to get brand deals. I started sending hundreds of DMs a day to different companies to be like, hey, I make videos about food. Send me your food. I'll put it in a video. This is my rate. And I was just at that point doing anything that it took to make money on social media. And that was the first like living that I was able to make. And then it really took me, it really, you know, everyone says it, but it was just years of like trial and error until I found out that I was looking at things wrong, because I was the person who was romanticizing old YouTube, like people who just kind of threw on the camera, got recognized for their personality, started vlogging. Like I still held on to that. I was still holding on to that vision, and I was overlooking the stuff that I was good at. Like I was successful metrically on short form, but I was still like trying to do long form. I was like pumping my money into these YouTube videos, trying to learn YouTube long form, instead of just like, that's everything I'm against now because of my path. I'm like, if something's working, regardless of whether you like it or whether it's exactly the vision you expected, just go all in on it. And then once I finally made that decision to cut off all the other focuses and just be as good as possible at short form, then I started making a decent amount of money on YouTube Shorts, and I got my TikTok dialed in. I learned about the sales. I learned about, so it was just the intention behind it was I was looking at it all wrong. I wasn't leaning into my strengths. I was pushing away from my strengths. I was trying to reinvent the wheel. I was trying to come up with new concepts. I was doing long form and trying to come up with new stuff. I was just completely misled, which I feel like so many people are now. I know for a fact so many people are now, because I talk to them every single day, whether it's my DMs, whether it's people in my community, and they're just misled. And that's why I'm doing this, because I'm like, all I want to do is act as an example of like, I know what you're feeling. I know what you like. And I've watched people who have so much skill in short form and like have so much dedication, but it's just misplaced. I'm like, you could 10x your lifestyle. You could just 2 years grind what you're good at, do what works, and then you can go be financially set and have a little passion project YouTube channel that makes you happy and fulfills everything. And that's kind of where I was at, and I like committed to that. I was like, I can just do this. I could do what works, and then we'll figure it out. Like you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You don't need to find a new concept. And that's when I started the licking. I did like how many licks to finish something, which was a video that I stole from somebody doing well, and then I made the concept my own. People started to think of me as the guy who did it now. Like I kind of overtook the original, which tends to happen in business and content. Like the first person to do something realistically is not going to be the most successful at it. It's the second person who finds it out, makes the concept better, does it more often, adds a twist to it. That person runs with it. And then that was me, and that became my thing. And then that gave me something to focus on, gave me something to be intentional about, make a consistent output of content. And that was the start of the last 2 years. And then just through that, I met people doing the same thing, got introduced to new opportunities, and that's kind of how it worked out.
That's awesome. So would you say that the shortcut to your success would be kind of just locking in on one thing and then replicating frameworks, essentially?
Yeah, like when I was trying to be a something, I'm like, I'm doing long form, I'm doing TikTok, I'm doing YouTube Shorts for my long form, not just strategic YouTube Shorts to get their own views. Like I was doing all this type of shit. Like if you want to do something, lock into it, not just one platform, definitely like be across all platforms, but like if you're gonna pick your main, like if you're gonna go do YouTube Shorts the best you possibly can, and then don't be ignorant and just post the same videos across all platforms. Like learn how to optimize your audience across every platform, have one main output, because if YouTube Shorts is your main focus, that can become a main revenue source. Like you can make $25,000-$30,000 per channel on YouTube Shorts, especially if that's your main focus, because I've done that with it being only part of my focus today. So if you lock in on that, you can build a whole brand around your Shorts content or who you are on Shorts, and then you can expand. Then you can try to do long form with your audience. Then you can try to sell a product. Then you can do this or that. But like your first year or so, I think you try to lock in on one thing and don't give up, because I've seen so many people who have a million good ideas, but they can never focus on one for a longer period of time. I'm like, if I like, with my knowledge of social media, I can look around at any format that anyone's doing. I'm like, if I focused on any individual thing that somebody's doing, I could make it work. If it was my main focus and I had to make it work, I could make it work. But I'm not going to get distracted and start trying all these things and put 10% in each area. I'm just going to put 100% in what I'm already doing because it already works. Yeah. Not get distracted by something shiny and new.
Yeah, that's really good advice, because I know for me personally that was definitely a big struggle I was doing, trying to do too many things at once, and then once I started to focus on one thing, that's when things started to click. So I do want to bring it back to like the short form content really quick, because I did have a question about that. What is like the ideal consistency for those uploads? Is it like one a day? Is it one every couple days? Or what have you found throughout all of your posting that like is the best formula, I guess, for success on that?
Ideal and realistic is one a day. But me personally, I'm so like, I hate waiting, and I hate like posting one video and then just being like, when's it gonna hit? What's gonna happen? So I, for the last like almost year, have been doing 3 posts a day on YouTube Shorts, and I do like 5 posts a day on Instagram and TikTok because it's a bit more raw. I can do content.
That's on one channel, one page.
Yeah, one channel, each channel, 3 posts a day. Like I do like 10 a.m., 2 p.m., 6 p.m. Evenly spread out, 3 posts a day. I think it's a perfect amount for consistency, because the truth is, if a video is going to hit, sometimes it hits really delayed. Sometimes it's going to hit instantly. It'll get 1 million views in the first 2 hours, or it'll get no views in the first 2 hours and then get 1 million views 2 weeks later. Mm-hmm. But the truth is, the more output you have, the more they'll start to get residual views and hit delayed. And then just, it's like real estate. It's like digital real estate. Like your YouTube real time is you're essentially looking at money in real time. And if it's a graph like this, if you're keeping it consistently like this, because you have new uploads hitting and old uploads residually coming down and new ones coming up, and something that just goes up and down once, it all evens out to a graph that should be like this. And then that should be a baseline of views, growth, and money that you are consistently getting. Because at the end of the day, if you're looking at it like a business, you don't want it to be sporadic. You don't want it to be like, oh, I'm going to make $1,000 a day here and then $100 the next day. You want to even it out. And in my opinion, the key to that is a consistent and frequent output. Because I'm not a perfectionist. I'm not quantity over quality. I think I make quality stuff, but it's very much so. If I had to pick one, it would be quantity, because I just like to get shit out there. I like data. I like to see stuff on the board. I like movement. I don't like to sit around and make the perfect video before I drop it. I'll figure the perfect video out after making 10 videos.
Interesting. I actually just talked to somebody not too long ago, and they were the complete opposite. They had the approach. They do long form though, and their approach was like, I mean, they posted like just a few videos over the course of like a few months, and like their videos hit, but it was like they redid and overdid things, and it was just interesting how people have different approaches. But I do like the quantity approach, because you do get a lot more data, and you are more present. Like you're more present on people's minds, I think, which is always a good thing. So
yeah, not that it's a end all be all.
Yeah,
you could do it. You could do either and be successful. But me personally, and obviously now my psychology affects multiple people because I manage creators underneath me.
Yeah,
and it's for everyone involved. It's worked. So that's
Yeah.
I'm just building more confidence in my own
Yeah. If it works,
mindset.
it works. There's no
Yeah.
point in messing with it. What are some hot takes on YouTube?
Hot takes on YouTube. I think I guess I just have aggressive stances on some things, like the whole when I see people doing shit wrong and being like, today I'm gonna do 100 push-ups a day to get better, and because my friends bully me, I like see a piece of content like that. I'm like, nobody gives a fuck about you. Nobody knows who you are. Make something, separate yourself from the video. Like that, I guess that's the stuff that gets me like emotional. Like I don't know. I mean, I think somebody will watch this and just get probably mad at everything I've said about YouTube in general. Like my hot take is that like intelligence and output beats algorithm. Like somebody like me who kind of just understands it and gets the game and is creative and has this like has been doing this for long enough to where I can kind of just have the intuition over whether a video is going to do well. I believe that that beats staring at charts 24/7 and like overdoing it. And even it's the same logic that if we're talking about the top, like Mr. Beast has the same thing. He wasn't doing data analysis off the beginning. He was just, yo, metrics aside, what's the craziest, most outrageous, eye-catching thing I can do? And then you just do that thing and the eyes will come. So my hot take is I believe you can beat the algorithm. Like you could post a video that follows no laws of any retention and no strategy and nothing that anyone would advise you to do, and you can still get the views if it's something provocative enough and still, you know, within the guidelines of YouTube, whether that's long form, short form. Like you can absolutely beat the algorithm, and you can be an outlier, and you can consistently be an outlier if you have enough data to do so. Like I have probably some of the most viewed videos on my channel are not the voiceover YouTube shorts. They're something that I've thought of. I mean, for example, on another channel, I started a channel fresh for a girl that I manage, and we were writing out YouTube shorts. We were doing strategic posts and everything. And the most viewed video on her channel to this day is something that took us 5 seconds to record. There was a little QR code on the ground, randomly walked by. It was a QR code that said "want head?" question mark with a little thing. And then we just did a video, like it wasn't even me who filmed it. It was one of my cameramen, and he was like, "want head?" And the girl popped up and she's like, "Hey, I'm here," and then like turns around. And that's like something that, oh, you'd see that on Instagram, whatever. No, it has 45 million views on YouTube, and it's her most viewed video. So it's like there's no retention tactics. It's just a good video that looks so real and so raw that it beat the algorithm. So that's, I guess, my hot take. So you can beat the robots.
Yeah, that is great content will outperform and win. I mean, that is something to think about too, is like even on Instagram, like you see some of the most viewed videos are the ones that, you know, aren't necessarily planned out. They're just kind of really great content. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's great. To finish it off, what is your best YouTube advice in one sentence or paragraph, whatever?
My best YouTube advice that I could possibly give is be intentional from start to finish. Don't get distracted by shiny things. Don't start half of the process when you don't know what you're going to finish. Know why you're making the video. Did this video perform well for somebody else? Why did it perform well for somebody else? Copy the key parts that performed well and then make it your own over time. Do not reinvent the wheel. Like learn in my mistakes, like learn from people who have done this before. Don't try to be original. We're 20 years into this website. Okay, you're not going to come up with something new. You can't blow up because you're a good singer anymore. You're not going to become Justin Bieber. You're not going to even be Jake and Logan Paul. Like you're not doing that anymore. Stop, get over your emotions, get over your pre-planned feelings about what this is. Be analytical about it and be successful before you start to think about the emotions. And yeah, join main character management, learn from my mistakes. You know?
That's great. Well, thank you so much for coming on and dropping a lot of sauce.
Yeah, 100%. I appreciate you having me on. It was a good talk.